Welcome to News Now. President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday met with governors elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Speaking after the meeting, the leader of the Progressive Governors Forum and Governor of Edo State, Rochas Okorocha, admitted that the country was facing challenges, but also added that the government is working hard to fix the problems. The governor said they understand that Nigerians are currently going through hard times, but insist that things will soon improve for the better. The forum also commended President Buhari on the successful release of the 21 Chibok girls and appealed to him to intensify efforts to ensure the release of the remaining girls in Boko Haram captivity.
Chibok girls, and we say whatever was the action taken to bring back these girls, let the same action be repeated so that the rest of the girls can come back. This will help, because that is a very big achievement in the life history of this government. And again, we came to report to Mr. President that his agricultural policy and program is yielding results. This time around, we have bumper harvests in most part of the country, in rice production and other things. So that policy should be sustained. And the funding policy from CBN, like anchor borrowers, should be encouraged because it's yielding results. And we're sure that in the next couple of years, a year, 2 years to come now, Nigeria will be self-sufficient in agriculture and may not need to import any more food products into this country. That was a great achievement. And we also encourage him in the fight against corruption, and that we should continue. We know that in the pursuit of some good programs, certain this thing might be noticed, and there's nothing wrong in pursuing a good cause. So we encourage Mr. President, and we thanked him for the effort he's been making so far in moving this nation forward. And we also looked at the issue of Ondo election and said, well, we're happy that we have delivered the first state under his administration, which is Edo, but in Ondo, that the governors have decided to show support to that election so that APC will take over the government of Ondo State.
Now, also speaking to journalists at the end of the meeting, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong said the decision of a former deputy governor of the state, Pauline Talent, to reject her ambassadorial appointment is a wise move aimed at ensuring equity and fairness in the spread of political appointments in the state. He says since Talent comes from a zone in Plateau State that has benefited immensely from federal appointments under the current administration, it was only fair that the ambassadorial appointment shifts to other zones.
Well, it's not only about her husband. I think it's the dimension of Plateau politics. Because I had already made a complaint to Mr. President that appointments should not be concentrated in one zone. And so all these appointments came again in one zone, in that particular zone. So the complaints that are coming up from our state is not about her, even about her own personal interest. It's about the fact that two of these appointments, two ambassadorial appointments, are coming from the same zone that we had complained. That is my zone. We had complained that the next appointment should go to the other zone, the central and the northern zone. And so when that appointment came, the kind of uproar on that appointment also necessitated an intervention. And I think as a matured politician, she gave up. She said, yes, for my position, I will sacrifice that for the people of Plateau. So we are still working on a replacement for that. So it's not a big issue, but sometimes maybe a little consultation would have solved that problem, because there were issues in the interest of the state. So you can't have two appointments, very key appointments like that, coming from a zone that is already overloaded with appointments. All the federal appointments are in the southern zone. So it will not be fair. So it's in the interest of fairness now. So we're approaching Mr. President again to consider fairness and send those appointments to those areas that had no appointment.
The Nigerian Senate has invited the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udo Udoma, over the medium-term expenditure framework for 2017 to 2019. The invitation was contained in a letter signed by Senate leader Senator Ali Ndume. The Senate actually says it is inviting Udoma to give a detailed analysis of the budget and explain how the government intends to fund it. The Senate also says it has suspended debate on the budget till the minister honors its invitation. President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier this month forwarded the 2017 medium-term expenditure framework to the National Assembly for approval. The MTEF shows the federal government expenditure plan of 6.812 trillion naira as its budget for 2017. Meanwhile, while the senators wait for the Minister of Budget and National Planning to appear before them, the minister has been pleading with the African Development Bank to fast-track its proposed $1 billion loan to Nigeria. The loan is part of plans by the Nigerian government to borrow from abroad as the country seeks to move its economy away from recession. It's also expected to cover the country's 2016 budget deficit. Speaking at a meeting with members of the bank in Abuja, Udo Udoma thanked the bank for the support it has given to Nigeria, but also appealed to the bank to fast-track the loan facility. He said government is committing money into infrastructure development, processing of export zones, and also providing loans through the Central Bank of Nigeria at a single-digit interest rate to support farming in the country. The Lagos State government has arraigned the suspected kidnappers of a traditional ruler in the city, the Oniba of Iba town, Obayisha Goriola Oseni, before a state high court in Igboshere. The suspects were arraigned before Justice Oluwatoyin Taiwo on an 8-count charge of conspiracy to murder, armed robbery, and kidnapping. They all pleaded not guilty to the charges and were remanded in prison. Meanwhile, the state government has already listed Oba Oseni as one of the 10 witnesses to testify against the accused persons. The National Judicial Council has endorsed an amendment to the Code of Conduct for judicial officers that seek to discourage court employees from accepting gifts from other arms of government. The NJC has also resolved to cease investigating complaints against judges if they are leaked to the media. The council, which has come under fierce criticism over its position on the arrest of some judges by the Department of State Services on allegations of corruption, also barred officers from lobbying other arms of government. The measures are part of a new national judicial policy launched in Abuja on Monday. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, also inaugurated the Ethics Standing Committee. According to the CJN, the committee is set to ensure the enforcement of the new policies. As his tenure winds down, Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole says he would like to be remembered for his courage at defeating the political godfathers in his state. Taking a retrospective look at what he termed as his accomplishments now in the last 8 years in office, the Edo State Governor says his ability to mobilize residents of the state against the political godfathers is his most cherished. He insists that the victory of the All Progressives Congress in the last governorship election in the state showed that his government has made progress in that state.
Every unjust order can be overthrown when those who are victims of that order are resolved to fight, to challenge, and to organize rather than agonize. And that the godfathers can be defeated, and they will be defeated. And if you look at the billboards I had during my campaign, it was not just billboards speaking to projects, infrastructure, or whatever they are that government will do if I win, but that we can defeat rigging, dismantle rigging, and defeat the godfathers. Now, 8 years on the job, I look back, I believe I have nothing more to prove. We have defeated the godfathers, all of them. Even in this last election, we defeated them. In my election in 2012, the one that is celebrated everywhere in the country as Mr. Fix, we unfix him. I defeated him in his ward. I defeated him in his local government. The other one that was a former foreign minister who boasts that he created his local government. We don't dispute that he created it, but we dispute that that doesn't make him the owner. We organized and we defeated him in the last election, and we defeated him in the House of Assembly election. The other one that has a powerful TV station, which he uses to tell lies every day, through the power of organization and communication, we defeated him even in this last governorship election. And it's clear that they are all down. By the special grace of God, I'm the only one standing. So I achieved, therefore, that in terms of the target I set for myself, politically, namely, to demystify the godfathers and banish them from our politics, I believe that has been achieved. All of them are down, and as I speak, I am standing.
Nigeria's immediate past Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase has denied reports that 19 assorted vehicles belonging to the police were recovered from him. His latest reaction followed a media report that 19 out of 24 vehicles he allegedly took away upon retirement had been recovered from his home. In a statement issued on Monday, Arase said he would not hesitate to seek legal redress against those desperate to tarnish his image. He also said that some forces were bent on tarnishing his image and challenged his critics to make public the number plates of the vehicles and where they were recovered. Nigeria's Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Bello, has directed herdsmen to move their cattle out of the city. The order was contained in a statement following a meeting with the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, FCT chapter. According to the statement, the order is part of efforts to totally stop cattle grazing in Abuja metropolis and major entrance and exit highways into the city center. The Nigerian government had in August announced plan in a bid to establish ranches across the country as it seeks to curb the incessant clashes between herdsmen and farmers. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission of Nigeria, Boboye Oyeyemi, says all commercial vehicles coming into the country from January 1, 2017 must be fitted with speed limiter. Speaking in Kaduna when he visited the FRSC Sector Command, Oyeyemi says the measure is to ensure safety on Nigerian roads. He disclosed that the Standards Organization of Nigeria had written to all importers of vehicles to comply with the order. He also says that the Corps would meet with vehicle assembly plants within the country this week to see how they could install the devices as part of vehicles' fitted specifications. The FRIC boss explained that the current persuasive enforcement of the device was to give motorists time to comply, adding that from January 1, 2017, it will become an offense not to have speed limiters on commercial vehicles. We'll take a short break now, and the News Now will be right back.
The Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, WSCIJ, invites professional Nigerian journalists and team of journalists, full or part-time, with stories published between the 4th of October 2015 and the 3rd of October 2016 to submit entries for the 11th Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting. Award categories include print, radio, television, photo, online, and editorial cartoon. Submission deadline Monday 24th October 2016 by 4 p.m. All entries to be submitted at the WSCIJ office, number 18A, Abiodun Shobanjo Street, off Latif Jakonde Road, Agidimbi, Ikeja, Lagos. For more information, please visit wscij.org or call 0908-251-5179. Investigative reporting is the vital force for the restoration of human dignity. Wole Soyinka.
Welcome back. Nigeria's Naira firmed to 455 to the US dollar on the parallel market on Monday. The local currency had been in a fluctuating mode across all segments of the money market, but the Central Bank of Nigeria tried to tame the market volatility at different intervals last week with the introduction of Travelex. The central bank's move to float the currency has narrowed the gulf between the Naira rates available on the official and black markets, though unofficial traders were still offering it at 305 to the dollar on Monday. Now, electricity distribution companies in Nigeria have called on the Nigerian government to intervene in the power sector in order to avert an increase of over 200% in electricity tariff. According to the operators, the intervention, which is needed to address over 800 billion naira revenue shortfall, can come like subsidies to consumers or provision of special access to foreign exchange for the operating companies. The average energy rate across the country is 22 naira per kilowatt, but distributors say this may increase to between 70 naira and 105 naira per kilowatt if the revenue shortfall persists. The Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, Azu Obiaya, says the debts owed to power distribution companies by private electricity consumers, businesses and government authorities have climbed to about 568 billion naira. He added that those debts are affecting the operations of the distribution companies and many are no longer able to meet targets and service consumers. Nigeria's central bank has ordered the suspension of MTN Group dividend payment from the Nigerian subsidiary of the telecommunications giant until further notice. Addressing the latest development on the alleged illegal repatriation of $13.94 billion by the group, MTN says the CBN had ordered the 4 commercial banks operated by MTN to suspend dividend payout from Nigeria. The company's executive officer, Fedi Mulman, had last week admitted that the telecommunications giant moved funds out of Nigeria without obtaining a certificate of capital importation. He told the Nigerian Senate that the action to move the funds was taken without any deliberate intention to flout any Nigerian law, but was rather compelled to do so because of circumstances which he says made it impossible for it to obtain the 24-hour provision in the Act for issuance of certificate of capital importation. Oil prices steadied on Monday on signs that the production cut plan by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries could face more headwinds after Iraq signaled it wants to be excluded from the pact. U.S. crude fell to $50.82 a barrel, while Brent crude rose to $51.86 a barrel. Now, OPEC members are scheduled to meet on November the 30th to discuss individual production quotas in order to limit the group's production under 33 million barrels a day. However, many market observers are bracing up for the deal to flop, given the members' track record of not complying to their quotas. The death toll in Cameroon crash has actually risen to 80, and officials have warned that the death toll may increase if the remaining 600 injured persons do not get blood transfusion on time. France's ambassador in the country was one high-profile donor who donated blood and urged others to follow suit. The passenger train was traveling from Yaoundé, the capital, to the port city of Douala when carriages flipped over at high speed. President Paul Biya told State TV that victims' medical costs would be paid for by the state, adding that an in-depth inquiry into the cause of the accident had been ordered. A day of mourning is being observed in the country with flags flying at half-mast. About 1,600 migrants have been bussed away from the jungle in Calais as French authorities clear the camp. Migrants queued peacefully to be processed, and 40 of the 60 coaches that will carry them to migrant centers across France have now left. However, there's concern that some people will refuse to go because they still want to get to the United Kingdom, and that weekend clashes with police could be repeated. Now, the dismantling of the camp is expected to start on Tuesday. To sports now, Nigerian international Alex Iwobi has missed out on the 2016 World Golden Boy Award after it was given to Portuguese international Renato Sanchez. The Bayern Munich midfielder saw off competition from Manchester City striker Kelechi Iheanacho, Manchester United's teenage sensation Marcus Rashford, Tottenham's Dele Alli and Dortmund's Moussa Dembele to win the award. The award, created in 2003, is usually awarded to the best player who are below the age of 21 and ply their trade in Europe. Previous winners of the award include Wayne Rooney, Lionel Messi, Cesc Fabregas, and Sergio Aguero. South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns have won the CAF Champions League after defeating Egyptian side Zamalek 3-1 on aggregate. The Egyptian Giants put up a brave fight, but they could not overturn Sundowns' 3-0 first leg victory in Pretoria last week. The ABSA Premiership champions will now play against the champions of Europe, Asia and South America in the FIFA Club World Cup in Tokyo in December. Leicester City's title-winning heroes Jamie Vardy and Riyad Mahrez have both been named in the final 30-man shortlist for the 2016 Ballon d'Or award. The pair were named alongside the Barcelona quartet of Messi, Iniesta, Luis Suarez and Neymar. Now, Portugal's Euro 2016 winners Pepe, Cristiano Ronaldo and Rui Patricio, as well as three France quartet now of Hugo Lloris, Dimitri Payet, Paul Pogba and Antoine Griezmann are also named on the list. According to the new rules, media representatives will vote for their best, and there will be no announcement of three finalists before the award is presented to the winner. Now, the winner and the complete rankings will be revealed before the end of the year. Well, that's it in news now. We thank you very much for watching. Continue to stay tuned to TV360.